This video is sponsored by Skillshare. This is one of the best DIY gifts you could possibly make for somebody. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, Newton, no, not a chance. It's a wood scoop. That's not possibly the best gift you can give. I thought the same thing, but this is what changed my mind. To me, the ideal gift project doesn't take a whole lot of materials. That way it saves some money if you're gonna make several of them. I like to look at it from a different angle. It's not about being cheap, it's about being selective with the material. You got a small project, I can pick out the best of the best. I can pick out a little piece of wood that has the grain in the perfect direction, or some highly figured wood. You know, it's about less is more. I cut a piece of walnut that's gonna be for the scoop. I tried to go with something that had some straight grain to it. I don't know, I think it's gonna look pretty good. And I also want this to be kind of on easy mode, so I made a template here. So what I'm gonna do is take my template, cut it out with an X-Acto knife, and then wrap it around my workpiece. Just gonna use some spray adhesive for this. I can't be the only person that has a gross glue box. It's probably time for me to get rid of this thing. I got some Super 77. Another check mark on the list of, is this a great gift project? Is the complexity of it? Is it something that's gonna take a lot of steps to make? The more complex it is, the longer it takes. Maybe it's not as good of a gift idea as something else. It doesn't mean it can't be. Think of like a crazy cutting board, right? I love those things, obviously. I make a lot of cutting boards, you know that. The thing is they take a long time to make. You could try to batch them out, but even still, they take a long time to make. This scoop only has a couple phases. I have to remove the sides of it, then I can cut out the scoop area, reassemble the sides, and then I cut out and make the entire outside profile shape, including the handle. Okay, next step is I'm gonna go over to the bandsaw. I'm gonna cut the edges of these off. You could easily do this with a table saw too. The thing is the table saw is gonna remove more material. I'm looking for more of a seamless look if possible, because those sides are gonna get put right back on there, and I don't wanna see the seams if I can. I can cut it quickly on the bandsaw and get a thinner curve, but before I can really worry about reassembling those and covering up the seams, I gotta deal with that scoop cutout area. What's something that you wish you could learn, or a skill that you want to enhance? Well, for me, I've got two fairly expensive cameras, and I'm really not that good at taking pictures of my shop projects. But luckily, I am getting better at it thanks to Skillshare, the sponsor of today's video. I'm taking a class called Beginner's Guide to Photography, and what I'm learning is that my pictures could have been a whole lot better, but I simply missed some of the fundamentals, and well, now I'm learning those things. Now, what I like about this class is that the lessons are only 2 to 3 minutes long. That way I can quickly learn something and then immediately apply it. That works great for me because there's certain things that I do know, so I can just skip that lesson, go on to the next one, and the next one. And next thing you know, I got all kinds of skills under my belt. But honestly, that's what I expect from them. Skillshare has creative classes taught by amazing world-class creatives like professional illustrators, renowned graphic designers, successful entrepreneurs. The platform is designed to help you build creativity into your life by learning directly from real, super talented and successful creatives. So if you've ever thought, I've always wanted to learn that, well, it is a season of giving. Give Skillshare to yourself, learn that cool skill, and at the same time, while you're there, grab a few gift cards for your friends and family. Kind of goes with the theme of this video, right? Gift giving. I'll put a link down in the video description below. The first 500 people that use my link or scan the QR code on the screen will receive 1 month's free trial to Skillshare. Get started today. Thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now, as far as my template goes, it wrapped around my workpiece, but then I cut the side of it off. That means I don't have a template there anymore. But I'm gonna use that later on, set off to the side. For now though, I'm gonna print off another copy of my template and then trim it to size. And looking at it, well, I mean, this one, kind of looks like the Seattle Seahawks logo. That wasn't on purpose, it's just how it panned out. I used spray adhesive to stick the side profile template onto the face that I just cut. The template marks the slope of the scoop and then the curve. Now there are a few ways you could do this. You can simply go over to the bandsaw or maybe even the scroll saw, depends on the size of the scoop, and then cut out the shape. Or you can do like I did, which is go over to the drill press. I want to do as little hand sanding as possible, but I also want it smooth, so I put a big old Forstner bit in my drill press and then drilled out a hole. That gives me a perfectly round curve. I just gotta take care of the parts that are on the side of that. All I have to do is go over to the bandsaw and connect my lines. I can cut from one end of the scoop all the way down until I hit that circle. Then I'll cut from the other side, down my line until I hit the circle again. Boom, that piece is done. Move it out of the way, and I got myself a scoop. Or, well, it's not really a scoop, it doesn't have sides, so kind of like a spatula. I have a spatula. That seems like a fine gift to give too. I mean, who wouldn't want a spatula? Especially a walnut one. Before I glue the sides back on, it's gonna be easier to sand this without those, so I got out the old Dremel here with a little sanding disc and some Velcro sandpaper. So I'm gonna do a little bit of buzz, get that smooth, then I'll glue these dudes on, like this, something like this. I got video after video of me just jumping into a project and going, hey, let's think about this one on the fly. But there is some advantages to not doing that. So back for a second and going, let me think this through before I just jump into the next phase of it. Well, that definitely applies with this one because really I don't want to attach those sides without sanding out that scoop. You can if you want to. Thing is, it's going to be way easier to sand it without the sides than with the sides on it. After the scoop was buttery smooth, then it was time to attach the sides. Now with this one, less is more when it comes to the glue. I know there's some people out there that just go, no, more glue the better, just makes it stronger. After a while, it's just more glue. What I didn't want to have to do is clean up the glue, all of the inside of that scoop that I just sanded off. What's the point then? Now that I glued the sides back on, I'm going to try to make this thing look a little bit prettier. I used the bandsaw to cut the outside profile for this, and it's really like 3 cuts. You got the bottom cut. I want to make sure I cut the bottom smoothly, have it curve up into the handle. That's going to form the bottom of the handle. That's going to determine how thick your handle is. I got to make another cut that's going to determine the thickness of that side, and then how much do I want to taper into the handle? That determines if that handle is going to be narrow or wide. Once I have that one figured out, I like it, just repeat that on the other side. That's pretty much it. And if you notice, I'm not really using a million tools here. It's basically just like the bandsaw. And that's what makes this such a great batchable project. I'm basically at one tool. It's all set up. I'm doing my thing. It's not a whole lot more time for me to cut 5 of these compared to cutting 1 of them. I'm still at the same tool. I'm just bzz, 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 doing my thing. Now, sure, I'm gonna use a couple other tools like, a sander because I like using those and they make it a little bit easier, but they're not necessary. Really, I could get by just using the bandsaw and some hand sanding. I cut out the outside profile and did stay away from the lines just a little bit. I'm over here at the disc sander. This removes material like crazy. So I'm gonna clean up all the flat surfaces and the major curves. Then I'll get out the spindle sander. That's where I can soften things. I can get inside those delicate curves and just round over everything and make it soft so it feels more comfortable in the hand as we're scooping out whatever in the world we're scooping. This is where my imagination can take over. I bounce back and forth between the spindle sander and the disc sander, just letting the project naturally take shape. The profile, the shape, how big the project is, completely subjective. Questions like, well, how big of a scoop should it be? Like how tall? How wide? How deep should it be? How big should the handle be? How should it feel in your hands? Again, completely subjective. And that's what's so great about a project like this is you can be creative. Hey, I'm a big fan of that one. When I can get creative with a project, I end up having more fun. I want to enjoy that project more, and I feel like that comes across in the project. So again, that makes it a great gift idea. I sanded this thing up to 400 grit. It is silky smooth, so now it's time for finish. And well, for finish, I think we should keep it simple. It needs to be food safe, right? So I'm gonna get some butcher block oil like I'd put on a normal cutting board, let it soak in, remove all the extra, maybe put another coat on there, buff it out. Then we should have the perfect wood scooper for all of our scooping needs. I think the finishing process is what really gets people hung up when it comes to gift ideas. It's like you make something, it looks great, you gotta apply finish to it, and then you're waiting for it to dry, and it's taking forever, and now you're like looking at your watch, oh my gosh, when is this thing gonna be done with? I gotta go to a Christmas party, So when it comes to having a gift project, I wanna have something that dries in a timely manner, and this right here works out pretty well, because it's just some butcher block oil. You buff it into the surface, let it soak in for just a few minutes, buff it out, maybe put another coat on there, and then, ooh, you're good to go. You can get this thing done in just a few minutes. Now, a project could use minimal materials, be easy to make it quickly. Still doesn't make it a great gift idea because it has to have some sort of purpose. That purpose can be thoughtfulness, some sort of sentimental value, or some just utilitarian purposes, right? And that's where kind of this falls into, especially in the kitchen. Just imagine someone gets up in the morning, they take out their scoop and scoop their coffee, make that delicious pot of coffee goodness, and as they're sipping it, they're thinking about you, and man, you just help them start off their day in the perfect way possible. I'll put a link down in the video description to some downloadable plans if you want to make one of these, or just freestyle it. Man, just have fun with it. It's an awesome project. Thank you to everyone over on Patreon for supporting me, supporting this channel, allowing me to make videos like this. To meet again, get in your shop and build something awesome.